is next?
Next. I don't know what's next. Mental health is an important cause, full stop, not just for me, but because I'm running a wellbeing podcast, that is a huge element of wellbeing, mental health, and I believe there's a lot of work to be done in this area, and I feel like it's everyone's responsibility to do something for mental health. I feel like people can connect more with my voice in this community than someone who's famous talking about mental health. And I think that men need to speak more. So being a man and speaking about mental health allows people to connect with me and almost be a representation of men in the mental health space.
What inspired you to organise the 5K run for Mental Health Month?
As you know, Mental Health Awareness Week was last month in May, and Mental Health Awareness Month is this month. And because I run a wellbeing podcast, I wanted to do something for wellbeing. And the theme of Mental Health Awareness Week was move more for our mental health. So I thought, well, why not put something on where people can do exactly that, come together and move more for their mental health. So that's why I've hosted the 5K.
Can you give us an overview of the event and what can we expect?
An overview, okay. I've got a few things planned actually, and I'm quite excited for it. But a quick overview would be arrival, and there's going to be plenty of cameras there, capturing pictures and videos. There's going to be a little introduction at the start into who I am, what the podcast is and what it's all about. Then we're going to go into a warm-up. There's going to be some giveaway announcements because I've collaborated with a brand for this. We're going to do the 5K run. We're going to finish. There's going to be a little debrief at the end. And that's it. That's what the event's going to look like.
How many people are you expected to attract at this event?
I don't know. When I first thought about this event, I imagined like just me being there at Media City on my own kind of thing, just because I've not got a huge following right now, and I don't know, I just thought it would just be me. But kind of as I've pushed it out a little bit, there has been quite a little bit of interest in it, in terms of, you know, there's quite a lot of friends and family coming down to support. Some of my colleagues from work said they're going to be there. So I remember you asking me a question, and it was, what would be a success? And I said 30 people. I would be happy if 30 people turned up. So anything else, more or less, it doesn't matter, because we're still getting out there and doing what I'm set out to do and making an impact.
Are there any special activities or highlights planned for the day?
Yeah, so I briefly just mentioned this, and it's a giveaway. So there's going to be 2 giveaways on the day. One's going to be a cash prize, and the other's going to be a t-shirt from a local brand, which I won't disclose yet. Obviously, you'll see this on the day.
What are the main goals for this event?
The main goal is to get people moving for the mental health. So I envision that, you know, there's going to be a lot of runners there that have ran before and run on the regular, but I think there'll also be people there that are just starting their running journey. And if, you know, one person can say, you know what, I did a 5K today, I did 3K today, I did 1K, whatever it may be, and they can make that association between, you know what, I was active and after it I felt really good. That would be a goal for me. So hopefully allowing people to start the journey, whether that's into running or just being more physically active, and then realising this is really good for my mental health.
Okay, what's been the most rewarding part of organising this event?
The most rewarding part of organising this event has been connecting with different people. So I've had to make a lot of things happen to get this event how I want it. and to do that I've had to speak to loads of different people. So just having conversations with them and getting to connect with people maybe I wouldn't usually connect with, that's probably been the most rewarding.
What challenges have you faced putting this event on and putting it together, and how have you overcome them?
I guess one of the challenges was identifying businesses or organisations that were willing to support the event. So as I previously mentioned, you know, that organisation wasn't willing to support it because it was unlicensed, it's on private property, and it needed the correct documentation for them to, you know, promote it. There's been other organisations which were willing to support but didn't really support the format of the event. So Andy's Man Club were willing to have a representative come down and speak about what they do and their charity, but you know, presentations last around 45 minutes, and that didn't suit the format of the event. Also, I needed to be a registered business for that, to make that transaction. So they're just a couple of the challenges that I've come across. Everything else has gone pretty smoothly. I'd say the biggest challenge is just juggling everything. If I had like a team, you know, it would be so much easier, but you know, I'm trying to make things happen, you know, solo. That is the biggest challenge.
What are you most looking forward to?
My first live event. Yeah. I'm just looking forward to see everyone come together for my event. And although it's not my event in the sense that it's about me, it's something I've put together creatively to support mental health, and I'm just excited to see everyone turn up.
What has been the most surprising aspect of organising this event?
Oh, a lot. There's been quite a lot, to be fair. When I first thought about it, like planning an event, like I wasn't naive, but I just thought it'd be pretty easy, just put a date out there, time, get people to turn up. But when I started to ask myself, what do I want it to look like, you know, what's going to happen at the event, and I want it to be as best, I want to do it as best as I can. So I think just juggling a lot of things. So, you know, getting a videographer, collaborating with brands, organising food for after the event, inviting people, doing the posters. Like, I'm one man doing all these things, so I think juggling things has been the toughest thing to prepare for this event.
How has the community responded to this event?
Oh, I guess this is my community more than the broader community. So I've had quite a lot of support of some local businesses in terms of putting the poster up and advertising it in their shop or whatever it may be, and then maybe not some not so positive. I guess my community, so like friends and family, like massive support. So a lot of them are coming down, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see them on the day.
How do you hope that this 5K run will impact participants and the broader community?
I think that stands out to me is, you know, this is not about me. This is not about the podcast. This is about people and mental health. So, you know, bringing a community together at an event where we can all connect, essentially. We know how, you know, good it is for us to connect. Social relationships are really good for our mental health. So, you know, just bringing people out and maybe introducing mental health to them. You know, not everyone has heard about, obviously everyone's heard of mental health, but they might not know how it impacts them on the daily, and you know, I think that run can help people make that association.
What role do you believe the community plays in an individual's mental health, and how does this event foster that?
it goes back to community. This is an event for the community. So, we're coming together to move more for our mental health. We know being physically active is good for our mental health. However, we're being physically active together, so it's not just exercise, but it's social connections. Them paired together is going to be so good for your mental health. That's the impact.
How do you think events like this can change the stigma around mental health?
It's almost a different conversation. So, I'm doing all the podcast stuff behind the scenes, like this is quite separate from the event, and it's in a totally different format. So for someone that might not watch a podcast episode or follow me on socials, they might come to the event. So it's almost introducing mental health just in a different capacity. And I think that is the impact it can have, bringing mental health conversations in a different format.
How are you feeling about presenting in front of all these people?
Fine. Right now I'm fine. I'm used to speaking in front of people. However, not in front of family. There'll be certain people there that have never seen me in a professional capacity. So having me up there speaking about quite serious topics and being quite professional will be like a part of me they've not seen before. But yeah, I'm feeling fine about speaking to people. I feel like I've had enough practice speaking in front of groups, and I'm not making things up. This is something I'm passionate about, so I don't have to write a script. I turn up as me. I'm doing this for mental health. I've got a well-being podcast. I want to make an impact, so I feel fine.
What does the finish line of this 5K represent to you, and beyond just the end of the race?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say first, 5K is not easy. So, if you are coming, and if you do 5K, you should be proud of yourself, but more importantly, for the cause. So, running 5K alone, amazing achievement. Doing it together as a community for mental health, I think that's an incredible achievement.
If this event could achieve one thing, what would you want that to be?
Very similar to the other question. But so I've actually got a little activity planned for the event where I'm hoping everyone gets involved. So I'm hoping it starts some conversations around mental health. That would also achieve the other goal of, potentially people improving the mental health, but, not many people speak about mental health, especially to the people around them. So if I can initiate that conversation, especially at an event like this, and hopefully, there's potential there to that conversation carry on past the event, behind closed doors, I think that's some of the invisible impacts, but that would be huge.
How can people who can't attend support the event?
Share it. Yeah. So, I guess this is underestimated, the impacts that you can have. So if you can't come down to the event, so if you can't run, you can come down and still support. If you can't come down and support, share it on social media. So the reach you can have on social media is huge. When a few people share it, the amount of new people it's reaching, it's almost an invisible impact, but it's pushing more people to the podcast, more people to the event, and that allows us to reach the goal, what we want to achieve.
If you could have a conversation with every participant after the run, what would you hope to hear from them?
Positive stuff. I'm definitely not going to have time to have a chat with everyone after the run, unless there's 5 people there, but I just hope that they've enjoyed it, and they was glad that they came down and participated. You know, I imagine there'll be people on the day that wake up and go, can't be bothered going, can't be bothered getting up and moving. And, you know, we feel like that sometimes, but when you force yourself to do it, you get that exercise done, you feel better afterwards. So it'd be nice to hear if someone was like hesitant about coming, but then came down anyway and had like an amazing time. Like, that would be a massive win.
Do you plan to make this an annual event?
I think it'll be more than annual. So one thing with this event, it's not going to be a run club, unfortunately, because I've got loyalties to Maid Running. So anyone who actually comes down to this run, I'm going to speak about Maid Running, the run club I go to every Saturday, and they're going to be directed towards that. So if you are looking to start your running journey, come and join me at Maid Running. So this, for me, these events are going to be maybe twice a year, maybe quarterly in the future, but I do have plans to make it a bit of a regular thing.
What other interactivities or projects do you have in mind to promote mental health awareness?
Oh, so there's quite a few, to be fair. I have ideas all the time, and they're not quite complete ideas yet, so I don't think I'm ready to share some of them, but there's an event not an event, it's going to be like a street interview series where we're going to focus on mental health, and I'm hoping to release that in November, which is Movember, Men's Health Month. Then next year I'm going to be doing a live podcast showing in collaboration with our mental health photography project, which I'm super excited about. It's something a little different from running, so you know, it's going to attract different audiences, and you're going to get to see, you know, the work we've been putting in from now until next year. So that's what's currently in the pipeline.
What message do you want to send out to those struggling with mental health issues?
Gets better. I think this is a tough one because there's loads of messages that you could send to people struggling, but it does get better. But part of that is seeking help. So you can't just expect it to get better. You've got to go and seek the help and make the necessary changes or take the necessary steps to move in that direction.
What would you say to someone who's hesitant to seek help for their mental health?
I can't just say do it because, you know, it's easier said than done. I'd just say, you know, first step is being aware that you're hesitant, but you can be hesitant and do it. So you might be scared to do something, but what I always say is just do it scared.
How can a participant and viewers continue to support mental health awareness after this event?
Okay, so there's loads of things out there, like different ways you can support mental health. You can start by supporting the podcast, give it a follow, give it a share. I think that, you know, if you're struggling to start conversations in your life about mental health, how easy is it to send a podcast clip or a podcast to one of your friends, to one of your family members, say, have you seen this podcast that this guy's doing about mental health? That lays it on the table straight away, and then you can see where the conversation evolves from there. That just opens the door, and you can just check in with that person after that. How is your mental health? That podcast got me thinking. And, you know, if it can start conversations like that, I think that's where the impact is. You know, it's not in raising awareness, it's in taking action around mental health.